Now we're about ready to go. The company's strung out down the dirt road. And I'm standing there with the captain and somebody else. And believe me, the captain said, don't move. And he bends down and he's cleaning the dirt from around my feet. And I almost moved. Here I'm standing on a block of wood about this square. It's sort of like 1.5 inch, 2 inch lumber. It's got a great big spike in it. And when we called the engineers up, combat engineers, they opened that up. Right below that was 4 sticks of dynamite, or whatever that was, yeah. And then below that was a landmine. What they wanted to do was blow up a tank or something like that. But they had that street mined, and that whole field where we were, nobody stepped on one. So anyway, the captain says, well, I suppose we ought to get going. And then we heard clump, clump, clump. We look up, and off my left front, here come German soldiers like they're in a parade, 4 across, in formation, coming down that slope. And they came up to us, Captain and I imagine I should get credit for capturing these guys. They're giving up. Where's all your weapons? We threw them in the water, in this creek up there. So Cat says, I don't know what to do with them. So he says, you know what? Just tell them to keep going to the rear. What are we going to do with them? Okay, we hadn't had a facility. So 4 abreast, a company walks right past us. So that's how the war started to change. Okay, we still had to fight, but not intense like we had. So then we move on, and we finally, let's see, they put us on a forced march to Würzburg, France, the wine center of Germany. And I'm telling you, your walk and your sleep. Now, Ed Mizak was ahead of me. He had the handy-talkie, some people call it walkie-talkie, handy-talkie on his shoulder like this, just going along like this. The road turns, he goes straight. So he's half asleep. Got to go back in the field and pull it back out, get him down. So now we finally get up to Würzburg, big castle over here, Salzach, no, what river that is over there. And they says, we're going to cross the bridge and get over on the other side in the main part of the town. So they had smoke screens up going over the bridge. So you'd go a few steps, stop, kneel down, and wait for the next guy to move. You couldn't see very far, obviously. So anyway, I'm halfway across that bridge. The wind blew a little bit. The smoke separated. Here I'm facing this German tank. I thought, is there anybody in there? Should I jump over the railing? Should I lay down? Should I run? What should I do? In the meantime, the smoke came back. So there was nobody in the tank. We finally got across to Würzburg. And we were told to creep, crap, and crawl along parallel to the river. And so that's what we started to do. And we got to this one intersection, and there was a street going up like this, and at the top of that street was a church with, what do you call it, like slot windows, openings, not windows, openings. And there were snipers in there. So when our first guy went across there, they knocked him down, okay? And the medic came out and they tried to kill the medic. From there on, our medics carried guns, because the word was out that the Germans that are left are diehards. They're going to kill every American, no matter what they are, okay? So now we have to get across that intersection. So one at a time, shoot across, and they were occasionally shoot, but I don't remember anybody else getting hit. So now it's my turn, And I got all my guys across, and I run across, and I'm up close to where the captain is. You know, the whole almost the whole company got across. And then he says, Sergeant, I need the maps. I says, well, so-and-so has them back. So I sent the word back, send the maps up. The word comes up, I don't have the maps. You know, so anyway, when I got a hold of that guy, when I went back to find out why not, I said, don't you realize how important those things are? We don't even know where to, blah, 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 you can imagine. Okay. So I says, go back and get the maps. You know where you dropped them. The guy turned white as a sheet. He's scared stiff. So I says, you go, I'll go with you. We got to get those maps. I thought if he gets shot, maybe I can get him. So we get to the same old intersection. He darts across, no gunfire. I ran across, no gunfire. We thought we're pretty lucky. We find the maps, thank goodness. So now we got to take him back, go through that intersection again. We got through all right. We go back, and we had seen a lot of the Germans running up the hill through the vineyards, just all kinds of them, getting the hell out of there. So we figured they're all gone. And we had a gay old time. One of the guys played a piano. I'm getting ahead of myself. No, played the piano. They had wine, schnapps, and everything like that. I only got drunk twice in my life. One of them was in Würzburg. Helping out. We lit candles. We thought all those Germans were gone, hell-bent for election. So, like I say, I was half drunk. So now, before we went into this one building, I'm getting ahead of myself. No, at that same time, I'm out here with the captain and some others, and this guy comes out, civilian clothes, a good tall guy, and I says, something wrong with that guy. He's got too much military bearing. So we challenged him. And here he was some kind of a colonel or something like that. And he had put his uniform under a mattress, hoping he would get back to it like that and it would be nice and pressed out, see? So now I'm having all these drinks, and of course we captured and sent them on. And I went back and I'm laying on this bed, half drunk. And all of a sudden, 4 o'clock in the morning, I hear a lot of people. There's all kinds of tiles on the floor, on the ground. Roofs, you know, falling in there. I knew the people were running across that tile. Are they Americans or are they Germans? I reach for my rifle. It's not there. So I don't stick my head out the window, or because I don't have a rifle or anything. So I thought, I gotta find that thing. So I creeping, crapping, and crawling over all the rubbish that's in the building, and got up to the front of the building, and all of a sudden, boom, Panzerfaust went off across the street. And some of our guys had taken their clothes off. They were in their underwear and stuff like this. And a fellow that was next to me, one of my guys, his name was Orlando, he says, holy Jesus. That's the way it was. He was scared stiff. Well, 400 Germans had gone into the railroad siding that was just a block or two away, hid in the boxcars. And they came out at 4 o'clock in the morning. Now, some of them knew that apparently there's underground city. They went down under us and came up and captured the motor pool, the fuel supply and everything. And the rest of them were coming down the street to get us. So as the Panzerfaust went off, Sergeant Willett got down, and he was firing his machine gun down the street. Saved my life because there were 5 Germans ready to come through the door, so probably establish their CP there, but he killed them all. he burned his hands. I think he got a silver star for it, at least a bronze star anyway. And so another guy up the street, where some of our guys were, he's going to go down. It was his chance for guard duty, and he heard the commotion. And he sees a German had set up a machine gun in the doorway, recessed doorway, and ready to shoot down the street toward us. So he tried to shoot him. His gun didn't work. It's jammed. So he went up and took somebody else's and went out and killed that German. See? So that's why I'm here. And so those kind of things happen. And from Würzburg, we went down to Schweinfurt. Schweinfurt, F-U-R-T-H, and a Schwein, S-W-E-I-N-F-U-R-T-H. The British and Americans had bombed that city an awful lot because that was the ball bearing center. They made most of the ball bearings they needed there. And they had 288 set all around to protect that city. And now I think some of the guys from another regiment, they snuck in. And they were guys like Rangers, you know, like you have now. They snuck in and they neutralized most of those guns. But it was quite a job, and I don't know what their casualties were or anything like that. But we were up on a bluff, and just prior to getting at that bluff, we had some action. I forget exactly how to describe it, but Sergeant Iyer, one of my best friends, shot this machine gunner. And this is something that I usually don't tell, but he shot the German right here, and the guy's skull cracked all the way through like this, and a little bit of skin back there. His head opened up like a hinge or something like that, and his brain flew out. Must have been at least, well, what's that, 6 feet or so. I mean, it was quite a blow. And I looked in that skull, there wasn't one drop of blood in there, dried or otherwise. So now, here's an open area, lots of woods here, lots of woods on the left, and we're down here. All of a sudden, see a German run across that open area. I said, hey, there's Germans crossing over there. So we get up there, and man, we start shooting. It's like a shooting gallery, okay? And we got 3 of them. So then it was quiet. There was no more guys running across. So the first sergeant says, let's ride up and see those 3 guys. Sure. So we rode up. It was a terrible scene. These 2 bodies over here, blood all over. They're really shot up. Guy to the right, we see him. I said, Sarge, that guy doesn't look like to me he's been shot. So Sergeant gives him a quick kick, and the guy said, oof. So we knew he was alive. So we took him down to the CP. Here he had some portfolio, whatever you want to call it. And he says, Jim, why don't you look at that? You know a little bit of German. So I'm looking it over. And I said, you know what? I think these are the withdrawal orders to go from Nuremberg to Munich. But I says, I don't know for sure. So we had this prisoner sitting there. So Captain Miller went up and says, read this to us. He's perfect English. He says, not going to. And they talked back and forth. I'm not going to. I'll give you my name, rank, and serial number. That's what you Americans do. And Miller pulled out his pistol, put it up the guy's head, said, if you don't touch it, I'm going to blow your brains out. He said, I know you're not going to do that. You guys don't do that. So he put his gun back down. So, but that's what they were. He did say they were withdrawal orders. And so now we'd send that information on. And so that, like I say, it was like a shooting gallery for those guys running across that open area.
One thing you had mentioned yesterday was the guys who would panic and end up kind of circling around and shooting.
Oh yeah, that was
our own forces.
That was at Lichtenberg.
Explain, yeah, go.
Yeah, we're online, and things are happening now and then. You have the Germans up, you might say, the mountainside there, and we're on the mountainside there, and there's the castle, and that's the place where I had the chicken dinner. So anyway, the one machine gunners always carried a 45. All of a sudden, he was a nice guy, but panic. He starts swearing at the Germans and all this kind of stuff. He charges straight ahead into the German lines. He's going to get his Germans, I guess. But there was woods and everything, and he got lost. And he swung around, and he started coming toward our line, his people. He started shooting. So they cut him down. I mean, that's one of the tragedies. So I was on the phone, they called me, and I told the captain I had to cut down so-and-so, and gave him the story. He says, my God, what am I going to tell the family? Yeah,